And so now that we know why we study the Bible, let's look at some practical tips or practical advice on how to go about studying the Bible. So the first way, so I'm going to go through two methods or two ideas, two concepts of going about studying the Bible. The first one is observation. Observation is something that's often overlooked. It's something that's highly underrated, but it's so highly effective. It's so highly effective a method, a technique of studying the Bible. What is observation? Observation is simply taking in all the details that are available, that are in the text. So, looking at a text, looking at a passage, observation basically means that you are looking at all the details, making sure that you're not skipping over any details, and making sure you are aware of those details in the text that are normally overlooked. And so if we want to be effective at studying the Bible, we need to increase our ability to observe, and we need to increase our chances of observing every single detail. And there are four things you can do. There are four things that you can do to increase your observation. The first thing is to read multiple times. So let's say you have a passage or you have a text. One of the ways of just observing or increasing your ability to take in all the details is just simply reading it over and over and over again. If you read it multiple times, the chances are that you're going to be able to pick up more and more detail. You're going to see things that you didn't see before. You're gonna definitely take in those details that are normally overlooked. The second thing you can do is hop, skip, what I like to call hop, skip, and jump. Okay? What this means is, let's say you have a passage. Instead of just reading it multiple times, you can do it, you can read it multiple times, but instead of just reading it multiple times, you can read one verse, skip a verse, read the next verse, skip another verse, read the next verse. You can also jump around, read verse 1. Let's say the passage has 10, let's say the chapter you're reading has 10 verses. Read verse 1, read verse 5, read verse 10, go back to verse 2, read verse 6. Jump around like that. Okay? So you can hop around, you can jump around, you can skip. And all that is going to do also is it's just going to, it's kind of like looking at the Bible with fresh eyes. If you read the text from beginning to the end, or if you read a chapter from the beginning to the end, jumping around like this kind of gives you fresh eyes, and you're able to observe things that you didn't see before. Third thing that you can do is to read in reverse. So if you're reading a Bible verse, just one verse, or if you're reading a passage, read the passage from the beginning to the end, and then read it from the end back to the beginning. So if you do it with a verse, you can read word by word from the back to the front of the verse. If you're reading a chapter, you can read the last verse in the chapter, the second last verse, third last verse, and go all the way back to the first verse in the chapter. And again, all this is going to do is it's going to increase your ability to observe, and you're going to see details that you didn't see before. The fourth thing that you can do is memorization. David said, "Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against you." And this idea of hiding in our hearts is memorizing, committing to memory. You've heard it being said, can you say this verse off by heart? Memorizing the verse. If you can't skip over details while you are memorizing a verse. And so the act of memorizing forces you to take in all the details. And this is going to increase your observation, and it's going to increase your effectiveness in your Bible study.